The FBI now joining the state of Maine and local law enforcement in their investigation as the person of interest in this mass shooting in Lewiston last night remains at large.
Retired FBI Supervisory Special Agent Jack Juppin joins us right now. Jack, your reaction to the fact that we're in the middle of the night, still can't find this guy, and he's got 20 years experience, and he doesn't seem to have made many mistakes, except for perhaps not armoring himself up.
Yeah, that's what concerns me, Brian. I mean, the minute I saw the pictures that you're showing on screen right now, I immediately knew this guy was tactically trained. I did not know his history yet, but the way he's moving, the way he's holding his weapon, and he's moving with a purpose, his fingers off the trigger, I could tell immediately this guy does have tactical training. Then obviously later on we find out that he's an Army reservist and is maybe potentially a firearms instructor.
Yeah, there's a lot. And Jack, when you came in the studio, you said that you looked at his Facebook page.
Yes, I did.
And turns out one of the targets was a bar.
Yep.
One of the targets was a bowling alley.
Yep.
And what did you find on his Facebook page?
He's big into bowling. He's big into fishing, hunting. I believe there's a photograph of him holding a large fish.
Yep.
He is definitely an individual that is, of the wilderness.
Sure. So
has no problem with that.
Jack, do you think he went to that bowling alley to find somebody? Because one of the people at the bar was shot at least 4 times. So it sounds like maybe he was after one of those people.
I agree, Steve. I honestly do believe that he went to that bar with an absolute purpose. I don't know who he was looking for, and that'll hopefully come out sometime soon, what his motivations were and what he was looking for and who he was looking for. But he went there with a purpose. And as you mentioned, Steve, to shoot an individual 4 times, there's some malice there. There's some hostility towards that one individual particularly.
Jack, I heard this morning that he's been married twice. He had 2 ex-wives. If you're one of his children, if you're an ex-wife, what do? Do you go to the police department? I'm sure they're terrified.
I immediately would. In this case, we've seen, unfortunately, individuals like this go after their own family members or former family members, in this case, ex-wives. Obviously, their kids are their kids. But unfortunately, we've seen this in past history of where they will go after their own, and sometimes, unfortunately, it ends in, a murder-suicide.
Jack, what type of perimeter are we talking about here? Because you got someone that's armed and dangerous, but not just armed and dangerous, but tactically trained.
Yep.
How far do you want to take it out? We saw in the last case when there was even a prison escape that the guy went over the perimeter, and of course law enforcement weren't anticipating it. So do you go big right now and then work your way in?
Yeah, exactly. You're going to go large in this case and work your way in. Obviously, we know where the car was found. I believe it was 8 miles from the scene. And you're going to start, obviously, large and work your way in. Obviously, we're using dogs. We're using helicopters. I know for a fact the FBI is also assisting in the investigation. And all resources of all of law enforcement in Maine and the federal government are being afforded to the locals on the ground there right now.
And it sounds like they just expanded the search area and telling people to shelter in place in the nearby town of Bowden as well.
Yes.
Jack, in your experience, what kind of a guy does this?
Obviously, there's some mental health issues here, unfortunately. We do know for a fact that he was, confined for 2 weeks this past year. Unfortunately, we do not know enough about him at this point in time. There might be PTSD issues. There might be other mental issues that we're just unaware of right now. But there's definitely a mental health issue involved here because a normal person just doesn't do this. I've worked with many people that are law enforcement, firearms instructors, SWAT operators for many years, and they operate normally every day, day in and day out.
I just wonder if there's something that could be put in place that if you have 2 weeks in a mental institution for an emotional breakdown, whatever the reason, and you express you want to shoot up a military base, that they take your guns.
Absolutely.
Agreed, Brian. Absolutely. The fact that he was still having firearms available to him, whether that was through the Army Reserve or whether that was through his own personally owned weapons, yes, he should not have had weapons if he is obviously suffering from some mental disorder.
And now we're all suffering.
He was hearing voices.
We are.
Thanks, Jack.
Thanks
so much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.